Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture on freedom of the press, important legal cases. Brandsburg and Hayes, 1972. It's a case that deals with reported sources. The Supreme Court found that no reportorial privilege, no protection from revealing sources, and then the press clause of the First Amendment. Recent cases have also involved reporter and source confidentiality. So that's the sort of the baseline for that. In 1735, there was the Zengers case about the truth standard. Zenger was charged with seditious libel for printing a series of articles. These articles criticized the royal governor William Cosby. Not that William Cosby. The articles were written by anonymous wealthy lawyers. They refused to reveal sources despite threat of death penalty. Zenger's lawyer, Andrew Hamilton, argued that Zenger had not committed libel because articles were based on fact. The jury found Zenger not guilty, and as a result of this, the case set the standard for truth to be considered as a valid defense in a seditious libel case. So it can't be seditious libel if your claims are based on truth and fact. Near Minnesota, 1931 deals with prior restraint, which is changed later on. G. Neer was a scandal sheet publisher. He accused local officials of having connections to organized crime. There was Minnesota law in the books at the time. If you're intending to publish, quote, malicious, scandalous, and defamatory material, it could be barred from being printed. The Supreme Court found that the list law was unconstitutional. It's a prior restraint on publication. As a result, it violated the First Amendment's freedom of the press clause. New York Times and Sullivan, malice standard. The New York Times published an ad from a civil rights group. The ad accused Montgomery, Alabama police of improperly dealing with civil rights protesters. The Montgomery Police Commissioner Sullivan felt that the ad inaccurately inflected his character. He sued the Times in state court and won. In the state of Alabama, the Times filed an appeal, and the Supreme Court overturned the state court's judgment. They found small errors of fact did not justify a libel suit by a public official. They held that an official had to prove that a newspaper printed the errors with malice, that they knowingly printed false statements. So a small error of fact did not count. This case set a standard for protecting those who criticize public officials. So there's a higher standard. Shepard Maxwell, 1966, dealt with trial coverage, which it has eerie foreboding for today's circuses that are in trial courts. Shepard was convicted of murdering his wife in 1954 amid media frenzy. The Cleveland Press at the time ran a headline, "Why isn't Sam Shepard, not that Sam Shepard, in jail before the trial?" Reporters and cameras were present in the courtroom during the trial. The Supreme Court found that Shepard had not received a fair trial. The court noted that the carnival-like media coverage of the trial constituted a breach in due process, and as a result, courts have now restricted and limited the court press's coverage of trials, which can be really good because sometimes, as you've seen in like various recent celebrity trials, they can become a bit of a circus. New York Times and the U.S. versus U.S. This is another prior restraint case, also known as this case is also known as the Pentagon Papers. At the time, in 1971, New York Times and Washington Post published a classified analysis of Vietnam War causes. The government accused the Times of publishing illegally leaked documents. That, again, were called the Pentagon Papers. The government obtained an injunction prohibiting further publication by the Times. As a result, the Supreme Court ruled that prior restraint should not have occurred. The government, in this case, had not proven that the publication of the documents would threaten the safety of American forces or endanger national security. As a result, prior restraint shouldn't have occurred. That was Freedom of the Press, important legal cases. Thanks for watching. Take care. Look forward to seeing you again soon.